All we do is movies. Donny.
Okay. Noelle,
There you go. That's how we introduce this show.
I am present.
We did it. We started off October with a bang. We watched
Did we, though?
we watched a spooky
No, we didn't.
movie.
I said, I want to watch something spooky because all the movies that are on like HBO and Netflix and Amazon, they're like slasher films, kind of.
Yeah.
None of them are like spooky.
I think they're
Guess
spooky.
what? We didn't watch spooky film.
Yeah, we did.
No, we didn't.
How was the movie Pet made, I don't know, 2 years ago or something like that? Not spooky.
Spooky.
It's spooky to me.
I guess we're just diving right into it.
Yeah, what we saw this movie called Pet. It was on
Pet.
Amazon streaming.
yeah, I think maybe.
think.
It could be a Netflix film, but I think it was Amazon.
I think it was Amazon because we were looking through. We were looking for a free thing because our
zip zopping and bibbity bopping.
whoa 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 whoa.
That's too much energy for this occasion.
Hyped up.
I'm a little bit low energy right now.
Whoa.
There are some things happening in all of our personal lives, you know?
I'm growing out my beard.
Yeah, that's the real problem that Donnie's having is that he has to let his body naturally do something that it does simply.
Yep.
That's his main problem.
Yeah. Life is difficult.
It's a hard life. So anyway,
Pet.
5 words. Go.
Pet.
That's not a word. You.
Dogs.
Oh. Poor.
Trapdoor.
Predictable.
Twisty.
Annoying.
Cheap.
Not.
Unexpected.
Scary.
Hobbit.
That's it.
That's right.
5
Dominic Monaghan.
He's been practicing that name
Montague.
the whole time we've been getting ready for this.
Montagham.
So he's really done a good job.
That's his name, right?
Yeah.
He is
Fine.
Merry from Lord of the Rings. And he's also what's his face from Lost.
Charlie.
He is, and you know, I guess everyone needs to work after they make a ton of money. So sometimes you make a really low budget horror movie, and that's what he did.
That I personally, and my spoiler free kind of blah blah. I personally don't see how any part of this was a redeemable sell. So he must have got paid a lot because
no,
the script wasn't great, and the production team probably wasn't great, and the set wasn't great, and who is this actress?
What?
What is? I mean, there was one. Jeanette McCurdy was also in this.
Oh, we'll get to her.
You know, woof.
You can see the trauma that old Dan Schneider put on her.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
But also there was like the leak of her photos, which was upsetting, I'm sure.
By Dan Schneider.
But Jennifer Lawrence also had her photos leaked.
Was she in Nickelodeon?
Yes, of course. That's like
or Disney.
She was in iCarly, and that was a great.
That was Nickelodeon.
Show. Yeah.
So.
Yes, that was on channel 26 when I was a child.
There you go.
No, 24 was MTV.
Whoa.
25 was TBS, I think.
Anyway, Pet, starring Dominic.
And some girl no one's ever heard of again because she didn't get any more jobs after this.
Holly.
Hall.
That's the.
Come on, Hall.
That's how normal people abbreviate Holly.
You're no fun when you're paranoid, Hall.
Hall.
Like the hull of a ship, or like, look at my haul from Bath and Body Works.
Or where's your hall pass?
Whoa, that's a good one. Or like the hall of a
presidents.
What?
Hall of Presidents?
Oh no, something like the hall, like in like a popcorn kernel.
A hole.
No,
Husk.
It's a hall. No, it's a hall. There's a hall.
A nut.
He's just saying single syllable.
Seed.
Words now.
The popcorn seed is what
No,
you're
there's a
looking
hall.
for. Anyway, pet. Yeah, going into this movie, spoiler free, it's about this lonely old dude who is sad because he puts down really kind dogs all the time because he works at a humane society that's not too humane.
It is a kill.
It's definitely a not no kill shelter.
Because it's not really a humane society. It's like it's for the county. So I think it's more of like the
they
animals.
trap them.
Right.
But anyway, it's set up. This dude's working at the humane society thing, and then he likes
The Humane
dogs.
Society. It's not
Whatever.
humane.
The
Okay,
animal
well, then call it
control.
like the pound. It's not
Pound.
the Humane Society.
Whatever. The humane society kills dogs.
Well, then it's not very humane.
I know.
Okay, we'll call it
And
the
that's
pound,
the travesty
'cause-
of it all. Anyway, he's working, and he's a hard worker and living in LA, making ends meet. And then he sees this chick on the bus, and he's like, "Oh, I went to high school with her. I'm going to talk to her." And she's like, "Oh, okay, I don't." And then he's like, "Well, I'm going to stalk her, I guess." And that's kind of
That's the film.
spoiler free, of course.
Right. That's spoiler free.
Because as you know, because you watched it, because we put out the newsletter, and you all saw it, and you clamored for this movie, and we listened. And
What actually happened was Donnie made dinner for about 30 minutes, and I sat on the couch.
Where Chef Gordon Ramsaying it up.
No, I was just clicking.
She's been
through
watching a lot of
menus,
Hell's Kitchen,
just-
so I've been inspired.
He always cooks.
No, I've been inspired. The chicken is raw.
This chicken is f***ing raw, you donkey.
You donkey.
You donkey.
And then it goes into a Shrek parody.
Okay. No.
Donkey.
All right. Well, anyway, spoiler free's over because this movie's dumb.
Spoilers over. Do.
Guys, I got a haircut.
She did. She got a haircut. We're all excited.
Okay.
We made it, and we made it through Pet, starring Mary from Lord of the Rings, or
fuck?
Charlie
Sorry,
from
gotta stop swearing.
Lost.
What is the girl's name? Does
Holly.
anyone know? No, what's her real name?
I don't have my iPad in front of me, so we won't know.
'Cause let me just say,
Ever.
this girl, she really thought this was gonna be her breakout role.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
begin.
Well, yeah.
'Cause
So
she had to do a lot of
spoiler.
acting.
Not free. Yeah, so they presented this to her. Someone had an acting class with her, and they're like, "Hey, you really emote.
You really have
got
to be like
something, kid."
You know.
And this first time writer, I hope he somehow first time writer and director or something. I have no idea, no information, going in blind. But from what I imagine, based on the movie that I saw, some very rich kid either wrote and directed or picked up the script that his buddy wrote in about a weekend, and they decided to make it. And someone had Dominic Monaghan's information, and then they met this girl at a local actressing, study hall or whatever. And
Met her at the Method 1 acting clinic.
yeah, and they really put it all together because it, man, it's not that great. But
All right,
yeah.
So Don Monahan sees Holly on a bus, and he's like, "Oh, I knew you from high school." And then she was like, "Oh, we're in the same grade." And he's like, "No, I was above you, but we didn't talk." And then that's the end of the conversation. And he tries to at that moment.
Okay, you want to have a coffee or something?
And then she leaves the bus.
Yeah, she's
Because
gone.
homegirl is writing in her notebook. That's obviously a sign that
Journaling.
she doesn't want to be talked to. Guys out there.
Me
if there's ever
too.
a girl who is reading a book, writing in a book,
Mhm.
listening to headphones, actively on her
Mhm.
phone, doing anything else but looking at you,
Yeah.
she doesn't want to speak with you.
Yeah, if she's not actively eyeballing
Exactly.
you,
Don't
you
talk to her.
never.
She's just transiting
Yeah.
from one place to the other, okay?
Yeah.
Give her space.
Yeah. If she's trapped in maybe a sewer grate, her.
I mean,
Not-
if
not-
she's trapped in a sewer grate
not
on her
like-
phone, then yeah, don't her or
Whoa.
her at the same time.
Okay,
I
that
know where you're going.
nope. I meant let her die because you can't touch her. Me too.
If you're okay, you're blowing it out of proportion. I can't talk to you anymore. So he's like,
double entendre. Didn't mean it, but I did it.
so she like goes on to her home where she's living with Jeanette.
Ooh, did we even have
McCurdy.
her? What's her name? Claire or
McCurdy.
something?
Oh,
What was her
Claire,
name?
I think.
Was it Claire?
I think so. That's just like a basic white girl name.
Jeez.
Claire. Claire's a fat girl's name.
Oh, wow. But she was like halfway to goth. She had sleeve.
Oh,
She
yeah.
had half a sleeve, and
Yeah.
she was like dark eyeliner.
Oh yeah, and she had like one strip of color in her hair, and she was so like hard.
She's like, "Oh, I want beef and broccoli tonight." And she's like, "Shut the up, Claire."
She didn't. That didn't happen. You could tell though that
Well, there's a backstory.
that everyone was like really damaged though. Like that
Yes.
was the whole character arc of all of the females, that they were like so damaged, and it was. Every time I swear now, I know that you have to beat.
I know. I gotta go find it. Now I know there's several cusses. Like keeps me on my toes.
So anyway, yeah, that's just like really damaged. Like Claire is like, I'm too cool at the couch, so obviously I'm projecting. And then like Holly's like on the phone, like, ooh, this guy's texting me. Oh, it's awkward.
Ooh, it's Eric or something.
No,
I broke
Seth.
up with or
Oh no,
Seth.
Dom
No,
Monahan was
Seth.
Seth.
Yeah, main character Seth.
All right, so we got to Claire. She's at home. She
Yeah,
has
and,
one
and
line.
then all the while, old Seth is Facebooking. He's diddling,
Instagramming.
daddling. He's on the social media, which was called Sleuth.
Google
just
is like
like-
sleuth.
Like, does Google sue you if you have Google? Like,
Well, we almost got sued.
no, we didn't get sued. That's just. Anyway, we weren't talking about YouTube or Google's, policies at all. Anyway, he's on old Sleuth doing some sleuthing.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
He's creeping.
He's making a likes and don't like list based on her Instagram profile. And like the like list was like music, concerts. Like she loves concerts.
She doesn't like beer.
Wow, okay. And bullies. She doesn't like
Yeah.
bullies. Like how do you get that from her Instagram?
Because he was looking through, and it was more like a Facebook, because I think he was like looking at all like the events she was tagged in, and
Yeah,
like
but there was like a
all that
specific
stuff.
one that had like the squares, and it was like
Oh,
you would
okay.
click through the pictures.
I
'Cause
gotcha.
I just didn't understand, like, was there a picture where someone was like offering her beer and she was
Yeah.
like, no beer?
Yeah, and then she
Bleh.
probably made a post about, guys, you shouldn't bully anyone because bullying's bad. And it's like, wow, slow clap, thank you. Anyway, he's gathering all this information because he's going to entrap her, which is what they did as of like 5 years ago. You were allowed to do that. Not allowed anymore.
What are you talking about?
Ensnare people to be in a relationship with them.
People
Nowadays,
do that all the time. Still,
no, they don't. They can't.
you ensnared me with a bag of chips.
Of course. I live like E.T. in the old Reese's Pieces. I put them out there, and then they all come. And then you got to swat away the rejects.
Oh, I won.
You did it. You made it through the labyrinth of Reese's Pieces.
And I got a bag of chips.
And a bag of chips. Great.
Wow.
Anyway, Pet, starring Dominic
Monaghan.
He's
Mash 'em,
determined.
fry 'em, stick 'em in a stew.
Potatoes, of course, but he wasn't part of that. That was only Sam and Frodo and Gollum. Gollum was there because he
What
doesn't
about
like potatoes.
second lunch?
Yeah, they did that. And then they were drinking and smoking a bunch of weed when they beat Saruman with Treebeard and all the
Oh,
ends.
right.
They had all the salted
Right.
porks.
Okay, wrong movie. We gotta talk about the movie.
Much
we
better
don't like.
movie.
Yeah.
And I will give it to old Dom. He showed up. Like everyone, like, I don't know. At least he showed up.
There weren't many people in the movie to show up in
Yeah,
the first
Nate.
place.
Nate, the security guard, by far the best role in the movie.
No.
By far. Anyway,
Nate. Oh,
he's always eating sandwiches, and it's great.
Nate, the security guard, the Asian boss who only shows up twice.
And then the doctor that might be a director's friend or something, because
The
he's literally
doctor?
one. The guy that kills the dog,
Do you want to keep this dog?
which I will say, okay, going into the actual movie,
Okay.
it started off with a good setup because, like, I did know the plot going. I vaguely understood the premise of the plot going into it. Like I knew that Dominic Monaghan had this girl as a pet caged up. Like that was like I knew that because I heard like interviews with him talking a little bit about it, and they might allude to that in the trailer or something. I don't know.
I think they did. That's why I wanted to see it.
Right. So that's the idea that you have going into it. But they set him up as a nice guy. Like I truly felt bad because it always sucks to have dogs die and stuff. So that whole scene of him like walking the dogs and caring for the dogs, like he is not a psychopath, sociopath, super cold, scary person. They set that up nicely with him caring, and that was an effective scene. Him, sort of torn if he can take the dog or not take the dog.
But also they set it up that with the one line, that was my one problem with this film is I don't know who wrote it, but the writing was not great because there was that one line where the vet, so they have this dog they introduced to you in the beginning, and it's like the specific dog that he likes a lot, and it's like in a cage kind of by itself. And then they have to put the dog down. And so they go in, and then the vet who's like administering the lethal injection, he's like, sometimes you gotta just take what you want in life. So like obviously okay, well that means
foreshadowing.
The whole movie was
Go
ahead.
Yeah, there were some moments like that where you're just like, and like when he does have her in a cage, you're just like iRollCentral.com / whatever. So yeah.
No, go ahead, keep going. You were talking about
no,
you felt bad for him because he was.
Well, yeah, I thought that was a good setup because going in, I'm like, ooh, this guy's gonna get creepy, and we're gonna see him like, what's the turn or what's the moment or like what's the where's or like what's the duality of them, right? Like we're seeing this side. I know there's going to be another side, and you're going to be like, oh my God, it's creepy, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type deal, but you never get that. Really, like he and through the first act, it's then he's now stalking her, right?
Right. So Claire goes home. So
Holly
goes. She just like keeps going places. Like she never really has like a thing.
Well, she's their hard waitress job.
Right. No, she's always just like, I'm on the bus, and now I'm walking in the night, and now I'm at work, and now I'm walking back home. So she's never like, she's just always going somewhere. Anyway.
Right.
Another thing I don't like about the writing. So Holly gets to her work, and then Dom Monahan shows up there, and that was like good. Like I liked their like his awkward like trying to court her.
Yeah.
Because you could tell it was like really forced, and then she didn't want any of it, and that just seemed like a really natural thing.
Well, and that was a good little payoff at the diner because we see him beforehand in the mirror doing the creepy like, oh, hi, how are you? Hey, hi, Holly. Oh, fancy to see you here, blah, blah, blah.
I have concert tickets.
Yeah.
Do you wanna...
So like you see his idea of how it's going to play out, and then it plays out exactly opposite. Like she doesn't even, recognize him, and he has to awkwardly like remind her all that fun stuff, and
right, and that was like
goes
really genuine.
Terribly wrong.
Yeah. And then he follows her home. That was creepy. I like that.
Very creepy.
And then she gets home and she talks to Claire, her roommate,
who's
edgy and sassy.
Oh yeah.
And she's like, "There's a guy outside," and Claire's like, "Is it this guy? Like, what was his name?
Is it the pizza guy?"
Well, no, there was like a bartender that was her ex-boyfriend.
Well, Eric, or I think his name Eric.
It was like, is
or
it
Brian
Eric?
or something.
She's so. If your friend comes into the house and she's like, "I got followed all the way home," you should care more. But we got to get to that. So Claire doesn't matter.
Right. But anyway, Seth crashes and burns.
And he sends her rose.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy. And she gets roses at work, and then she thinks it's her ex-boyfriend. So then she goes to the ex-boyfriend, who's a bartender. And he's like, "Oh, I didn't even know roses were like your favorite." And then she's like, "Oh, that's weird." And then
this guy that like you've only known for maybe like 3 days knows something that your ex-boyfriend didn't know. Like, does your ex-boyfriend not follow you on sleuth.com?
Yeah.
Why does this guy know when he doesn't?
Creepily obsess about it 24/7. Why aren't you doing it, Eric? You're too busy slanging Jackie D's. I call him Jack Daniels.
Effing other bees.
Whoa, that's
what
racist.
I did there?
Anyway, so then Seth goes to the bar and he's creepily talking, and for some reason she doesn't glance over at him
Yeah, because she
on the
goes
little
outside for some air.
for
and
a
then,
cigarette, and then she's like, he's like something about smoking, and she's like, you need a smoke or something, and he's like, no, and she's like, don't start, blah blah
It's
blah.
a bad habit, which is so generic because every smoker I've ever talked to has said the same thing. So maybe they're like, oh, it'll be real because she'll like regret her decision to smoke. But no,
Yeah.
it'd be better if they didn't have the conversation to begin with and she was just like, what the are you doing here,
Yeah.
buddy? They shouldn't have had any kind of.
Yeah, it's a lot of padded dialogue,
Right,
I would
it's just
say.
like.
But then it
filling
gets to
air.
the fact that he then, tries to like coerce her a little further, and then she's like, get the off here, blah, 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 and then it escalates, and then he gets knocked out by the ex-boyfriend, and that all goes south. And then he's back at the pound.
No, stop. You're skipping
Whoa.
an important part here.
Oh.
So by what Donnie means, it all goes south.
Right.
Is that Don Monahan gets kicked out of the bar and beat up. And another big problem with this film is a lot of the facial wounds are just like right in the nose. So they didn't have to do any actual work. They just want to make like bloody noses.
Cheap.
Right. But anyway, so
you got to apply those cuts throughout the rest of the film. You got to have continuity, people.
He falls on the ground after getting beat in the face, and in like the struggle that Holly had with Seth, Don Monahan,
right?
She like threw her purse around to like. She was like so scared. I don't know what she did. They were just like, that was the direction in the film. Was like, okay, yeah, just
flail wildly.
Right. There was no like defend yourself. It was like throw your purse around, spill some shit out of your purse.
Yeah.
And then her journal falls on the ground, and he picks up her journal. And
right.
There's a montage with music in the background, and Seth is sitting at home reading Holly's journal, and that made me so angry because the whole time on the screen you can see like words written in like nice penmanship, and if you like focus, you could read what it's saying. And, like, the stuff that they chose to write was actually interesting, but they wouldn't do a voiceover. It was just, like, you just have to sit here and watch, like, Seth be like, words on the screen, music in the background. So, like, they could have made it more interesting to have, like, his voiceover, like, how he's reacting to it, or, like, Holly's voice, like, reading the words, or, like, anything else. But it was just, like, let's set this music video of the song that I don't care about. Wow.
Yeah. But the thing you're supposed to take away is that he has seen something in there that really. Whoa! No! Lou is eating. Lou is eating. And you know what that means? It's Donny Thomas show called Donny Thomas.
Sorry, my cat is morbidly obese,
and we're back.
If you leave food down, he'll eat all of it. It's upsetting.
Yeah. He is.
Okay, sorry. So what were you saying?
Hungry. Anyway, Lou is scaring me right now. He's scaring me off.
So Seth.
So journal's lost. Seth's reading it. Now he has a plan. The plan is I'm going to kidnap her. So at the pound, he somehow has access to some tunnel system
under the pound
that they've neglected for years, and everyone's forgotten that it's there.
And it's fully equipped,
and they have power still there too.
And everything you need to
didn't have to do much.
Harbor a human being.
Didn't have to do much to make it anything, but he did have like he had like a welding system going on, and they showed him just spark up like like the welder thing. And then they cut away, and then he just went on the prowl to kidnap Holly, and you're like, oh, here it comes. Here's the scary part of the movie. And then that's when you're like, okay, now we're spooky and scary for Halloween, and I'm excited now. And then he gets her. He goes after her, and then he tries to get her, but she gets away, so then he kills a homeless man.
So she tries to get away. And then like she hears footsteps behind her, so she like slows her pace, which I will say as a human being, I have had that happen, but it wasn't because anyone was following me. It's because I'm a paranoid person. So I like
head on a swivel.
Right. head on a swivel. So she slowed her pace, and then she looked behind her, and then he wasn't there, and then she like pulled her mace out of her purse, like ready to. Which I have never had that happen, but I've always
that's
wanted to.
everybody's
So please attack
dream.
me because I would like to mace you.
Yeah.
So she got her mace out, and then she turns a corner, and then she runs into a homeless man, and she maces him in the face, and the homeless man is like.
There's so many moments that could be so much more fun, but I guess it's
That's
this
point.
movie's very serious.
Oh yes, everyone's trying very hard.
Dude, it's very serious. I don't think there's one moment of comedy at all in this.
Claire is the comedy, which she isn't the comedy. In a minute, you'll learn.
Oh, she is her acting. Yeah, that child acting stuff really takes a toll on
So
your
then Seth kills the
emotions.
homeless man who
supposedly.
You just want to get into it?
No.
All right, so I predicted this.
I know.
I'm gonna take the full.
Noelle is surprisingly clairvoyant about this. Jeez.
It's easy to figure out. It's not that difficult.
It's a fudging, intricate plot.
So
That was the writer's thoughts. The writer stepped
I
away
know.
from this.
I know.
It only gets deeper from here. It is not what it seems. We'll get into it, but you can feel the writer after every page, like, whoo, like stringing like yarn on a bulletin board thing, just like connecting plot lines. He's like, look at how intricate this is. And then his roommate walked in and was like, what the are you doing?
She's not real.
Whoa!
Man. Don't you know? She's not real. Okay.
But yeah, so Seth sneaks in and chloroforms her with some dog injection that
He tried himself.
He did try himself. I guess that was supposed to be a comedic moment, but it's also kind of rushed and yeah, it just paced poorly.
He gives her a little shot and she's out, and then she wakes up in the cage, and then she's like hysterical, but just like generically hysterical.
Yeah.
You know?
So she's trapped in the cage, and then he comes down, and you're like, okay, so I guess now the movie's about him, like, and she's his pet since he couldn't have the dog. They planted that. This is a really well done script, and so he's gonna treat her like a pet of his own at his place of work. Right. But then, he just kind of like sets some food down and walks out. And you're like, oh.
He's like, I won't eat it.
Yeah.
I know.
And then the next time he comes back, and you're like, okay, so this is the next day. A day has passed, and she's like a feral, like beast, like oh my god, like exhausted.
Which, see, Donnie doesn't believe that would be real, but
no,
I understand. No, I know. Like if someone had me locked up in a cage for an entire day and I didn't eat and I was crying the whole time, I would probably be the same. But
yeah.
The one problem that I had with her was that she just like wasn't trying, which you learn later in the film that she's like kind of a manipulative mastermind. So that whole day she's like this like little scared, but like why aren't you trying to get out? Because you've been in there for an entire day. You can't just like move the cage. Is the cage bolted to the ground? Why can't you just shake it around and like get your skinny wrist through the huge slots? Like she could have fit her arm through that. She could have opened. There's just like a lot of things.
Well, yeah, and I guess that when you see the rest of the movie, it is like, okay, maybe she has a plan to get out of this, but like
she didn't because Jeanette McCurdy had to tell her to get out of it. Sorry, go ahead.
But like you cut back to it, and it's as though she's been in there for a solid 2 weeks, like because she's just like prisoner of war, just like I can barely. But like I get maybe she's been screaming and freaking out, but at a certain point, you need to like reserve your energy, and you should be like try to play it slightly cooler. Like this is your reality now. You're stuck in a cage. Like plan B, I guess, would be manipulate the guy to like get you out and figure it out from there. But she's just like acting as though she's been in a concentration camp for like a month, and she's just like, I can barely move. It's like, oh wait, or maybe that's acting. maybe that's what landed her the role.
She's doing a lot of acting. So she's in the cage, and then Jeanette McCurdy shows up, and you're like, okay, so I guess that she's just so alone that she's
manifesting her roommate.
Her roommate. And her roommate's like, "You're gonna let him win?"
And like we've only
Ooh,
seen a scene
bitch.
with them already. Like there's only one scene of their relationship, which is like barely like acquaintances. Like it doesn't seem
Yeah,
like they're like BFFs for
bonding.
life.
And so Claire talks her through getting her strength back, and
Yeah.
Claire's not real.
Whoa! I did. Out of all the things that could have happened, I was not expecting that, but you definitely called it. And I was
Okay,
like, and when you mentioned that's probably what was going to happen, I'm like, well, that is too dumb to happen.
I was about to take it a step further and dumb, but I was wrong on that one. Thank God, because that would have been a horrible, horrible, horrible. But you could tell Claire's not real because Claire has no genuine thoughts.
Well, you can tell she's not real in that moment of being in the sub basement of the pound, but it turns out she's been not real at the at the apartment either. She's been manifested the whole entire time because
Yeah.
spoiler alert. Spoiler alert, this movie really twists you around. Holly's a serial killer.
She killed Claire.
And I was like, for a moment, I was just like, oh yeah, because she's acting so crazy.
Wait. The foreshadowing to know that Holly is a serial killer is because she decides to use the pan, the pee pan, I don't know what it's called, that
Right.
Seth provides for her, and a rat comes into her cage
Yeah.
to sniff at her pee, and what does she do?
She just stomps it violently,
To death.
just out of the blue. I thought maybe it was like a freak out thing, and that was only gonna escalate her, freak outness of the situation. But no, she just ruthlessly stomps it to death. And you're like, okay, that's one way to do something. Okay, but then it's revealed, yeah. The moment you start realizing things not quite what it seems, Dominic Monaghan comes in and he's just like talking all this nonsense and how he's gonna like save her and stuff. And I'm like, oh wow, they like maybe cut a solid 20 pages out of this because like this character development doesn't make any
That's
sense.
just how it was.
We didn't learn anything, but what they reveal is that he read something in her journal that she admitted to like murdering like 5 or 6 people.
The whole time there was that musical over whatever, and he was just like shocked at reading. That's what he was reading.
Yeah.
In the journal, that she was confessing to murdering at least 5 people.
Right.
And that was the scene where you're
Yeah.
like, oh, these are just like he's just learning about her. No, like that.
So the ultra high level screenplay that got greenlit to be shot at a cheap. Granted, this is extraordinarily cheap. I don't know what the budget was, but like, there's only a handful of locations, handful of actors. This was shot very quickly. But like the idea of like, no, there's a twist that you think it's going to be this, but a twist that she's a serial killer and he's some sort of vigilante that decided to kidnap her, but then she's going to manipulate him in some way. And you're just like,
And how does she do that? Okay,
what?
because Seth has been like he goes to work and he signs in and everything. He checks in.
Nate, the security guard's always eating sandwiches.
Right. That's all Nate does. He sits at his desk. He eats sandwiches. So eventually, Seth, the security guard, has been like drop Seth, the employee,
Right.
the crazy guy, has been not doing his job, but he's showing up to work and he's just gone.
Not cleaning up that dog poo.
So there's like a moment whenever Nate knows that he's like this is his last chance, kind of. And so Seth comes in and he like says 2 words to Nate, and then Seth walks out, and then behind Seth, you watch Seth walk towards you in the screen, and then behind him right here, there's Nate, and he's like, "Oh, buddy, I got your paycheck."
Yep. And that's how you know he's gonna follow him. But the one thing that they did do that was like a scene that was like okay, like well-ish executed was the whole bringing her into the dog pound and the box.
We passed over that like hours
I know,
ago.
but
no, it was good. You're right.
I mean, granted, the movie's not all terrible. There are moments of like okayness,
No, yeah, totally. That was a good moment.
And it's
She's
the
in a
whole thing of
box
like, yeah,
and-
he knocked her out with the dog paralyzer agent and wheels her in and pretends that she's like flea medicine or something, and then but she's starting to wake up, so the box moves, and Nate's like,
So Nate, the security guard who's always eating sandwiches, is like,
So many
that's the
sandwiches.
guy that you're rooting for.
he honestly is the hero of the film.
So
I think.
Nate comes after Seth and follows him down into the. Well, he doesn't follow
Just to
him.
give him a paycheck.
Right. So he investigates this creepy cellar door type scenario in the desolate hallway and the basement. And then he finds a girl in a cage.
Yep. And it's an honest reaction. It's probably the best acting in the
he is
movie.
great.
It's like, what the fuck is going on here, man? And he's just like, this is crazy. This white girl's locked in. Nate is black. He's African American,
He's also
or maybe Caribbean
very
American,
fat, hence
whatever.
the sandwiches.
or maybe just American. Who knows? Politically correct. But he has he has a great reaction. It's hilarious, and he tries to help out, but then, man, like her
It takes
acting,
a turn.
her acting is not great. I feel bad, Holly, whatever your name is, probably in Holly in real life, just to keep it, simple, so she can like.
What do you mean to Holly?
No,
She
her
probably had
her
another
name.
That name was written in, and the guy who wrote the script was like, "Oh, Holly."
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, no, that's
Holly."
what I mean. The writer was like, and Holly. Oh wait, Holly from my acting class. She would be in this. She's great.
Yeah.
I love her so much.
You should look into this.
I guarantee that's what happened. But anyway, she's trying her best, and she's like is half like pleading with Nate to be like, "Get me out sooner," and then she's looking over to Seth and be like, "Kill him now," and you're just like,
And so,
okay.
like, Nate comes in the door while Seth is trying to help her out, and she's like, oh, Nate, wouldn't it be terrible if some guy were going to come take me away from you forever? You should kill him. And then Seth kills him.
Yeah, he beats him in the head with the old cinder ball, and a lot of like knife play. A lot of irresponsible knife play I felt in this. It started off with whenever, spoiler alert, that's my way of going back to the beginning. Old Holly gets in a car wreck with her roommate because
That's not the beginning.
it's
We
not.
didn't get to that yet.
Oh, fudge!
Because, oh, wait, maybe we did. But that wasn't the beginning, but we learned that Holly
Yeah.
killed Claire in the car.
Right, because she was dating Eric. She
Ooh, that's what I
went out with the
waiting to talk to
boyfriend
Donny
Eric.
about this for a long time.
Ah.
So, okay, listen, everyone. So Holly kills Claire. That's why Claire doesn't exist. She's a figment of imagination. It's like
First
person.
victim.
Right. So Holly kills Claire because Claire was fooling around with her ex-boyfriend.
The old
The same
hucklebuck under the
ex-boyfriend
chair.
from the bar.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. Unless they have the same name. But that's why, like, that's why, like, in her flashback, she's like talking about him too. So it's kind of like, this is what my world has turned
Holly,
into.
found out that her ex-boyfriend who works at the bar was sleeping with her best friend, so she got them in a car accident.
Yes.
And then what happened?
And then they're like wounded from the car accident. Old Holly has like a giant shard of windshield stuck in like her shoulder.
And Claire's like, I'm gonna make it.
She's like,
I'm alive.
She's like, whoa, that was crazy, Holly. You need to like, drive better. And then freaking,
I didn't watch this.
yeah, Holly friggin' pulls out the thing with her bare hands, and it's a shard of glass, so it's already theoretically slicing up her hand, right? And then she stabs Claire in the eye because she's in the passenger, like directly in the eye, which would destroy your hand. Your hand would slide down the whole length of, but it doesn't happen in the movie.
Okay, but like,
But I'm just thinking, like, you've choke her out with the seatbelt or something.
but
Like,
how do you explain that to the cops?
yeah, the
also?
glass shard flew into my roommate's eyeball, and
I
there's
was
no
stabbed here,
trajectory
right.
of the glass.
and then my hand is messed up, and she's stabbed there.
Well, no, her hand's perfectly fine in the movie, but I'm just imagining, and then like flash forward, what's his face has a knife, and he's stabbing Nate because he's discovered his sex dungeon, which it should be, but it never is. So you wasted potential. But he's stabbing with this like terrible pocket knife, which doesn't have a hilt or any, it's nothing. So your hand's probably sliding and slicing up your hand because you have no guard protection because that's how knives work. And you're stabbing someone. So I was just that is the most fictional part of this whole thing is how people are stabbing without hand injuries. There you go, folks. The end.
So Nate dies. And then Holly continues to talk Seth through how to get rid of a body.
Yeah, because we've seen a flashback of all the people she's killed. She killed the homeless man.
She set him on fire.
And then and that is the best part of the movie. They got an actual stuntman doing the old trick of being lit on fire, and they do the same thing every stuntman, like because you're not allowed to do anything different, which I'm assuming they don't allow you to do anything different, especially I guess since it was low budget, so they can only do like the standard like and then fall, and then you just wait.
We've never been told to stop, drop, and roll.
Right. Yeah, I always would love to see someone like, but I think it
would put 'em out.
No, it would enhance the wave of air would probably enhance the flame and make it more difficult for the stunt. So then you'd have to pay the guy more, which they probably got. It's probably the scene from what was it, Love, when the dumb stunt guy that Birdie starts dating, he does the window stunt for free.
I mean, it was actually probably just a homeless man. They were like, we're going to put this suit on you, and then we're going to set you on fire for free. We'll give you some craft services.
That'd be great.
That was probably how it happened. So.
L.A. is a harsh town. Anyway, you take it away.
Holly, she tells him how to and then they go through a whole montage of like, okay, we have to like get rid of the
He won't fit in the incinerator that way.
Cut all of his teeth, and then you have to cut all of his arms, and then you have to do his legs, and then they're cut, both of them. Somehow Holly's in a cage.
Yes.
She has no part of this. She's just like the mastermind to all of it.
Yeah.
And she's bloody, and Seth is bloody. And they go like they're trying to like clean
they went
it off,
wild,
but they didn't even clean everything.
No.
There's still like blood on the walls, and Seth still has blood on his hands whenever he reaches in and tries to have an intimate moment with Holly. So now she has blood on her, and he's touching the cages.
Yeah.
Now that has blood on it. So like they're really.
Meanwhile, all the dogs should be going crazy. Like there's fresh meat below us.
Well, he did feed Nate.
He did. Yeah, he did feed him to the dogs, so they have the taste for human flesh. So guess what? That's the sequel. Dog Pound Human Flesh Zone. Boom, 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 boom. They're released from the pound and on the hunt. South Central LA has never been scarier.
So they do this, and she tells them how to kill, and then she's like,
"Yeah."
Can I just say I'm talking so much? But let me just
you're scared. You're Holly now.
My favorite part of this whole movie is like Holly's like, if you really loved me, you would cut off your finger to show me. And then he cuts off his finger
with the same knife.
To show Holly that he loves her.
The same shitty knife.
And the ploy of all of that in Holly's mind was like, I'm going to get him to cut off his finger to show that he loves me, and that way I'll get close to the knife so I can have it.
Yeah, so she plotted out the whole thing that he was going to not only cut off his finger, but cut off his finger next to the cage.
On the ground, on the most disgusting ground that he just murdered someone on.
And then he was going to be like, ow, my finger. And then in the moment of being like, ow, my finger, he'd drop
and then she
the
would
knife.
Reach through the cage, which you should have done that earlier, buddy. She would reach through and get the knife.
And then she stuck it up to her throat like, I'm going to do it. Let me go. And he's like, okay. But then meanwhile, the detective's on the case because old Nate went missing for a solid 10 hours. Like, he went missing at 4 a.m. or whatever they're saying, like they're disposing of the body because he's doing the overnight shift. The next day, I don't understand any of the time and place of this movie. Who cares? It all seems like a fever dream anyway.
Hasn't been at work. She's missed all of her shifts at the fucking restaurant.
No call, no show. Am I right?
For a week. So like, why does anyone care where Holly is?
Yeah, no one cares about her, but she's a serial killer, so she's a mysterious life.
How can Holly afford that apartment in L.A.?
She's a serial killer
without a roommate.
Don't think about it too much. Anyway, this is I don't even remember how this movie ends, to be honest. Oh wait, she
turns the table.
Yeah, she gets out and then gives him the old sliceroo to the throat.
And then you think it's over, and guess what? It's
Yeah.
not. Holly gets back with her
Oh,
ex-boyfriend,
Eric
and then there's
or
like a little
something.
moment wherever she like sees his phone.
What does it
he's
say? Like
cheating
2 months
again.
later or something like that?
I don't know.
Or,
It's like
something like
too
that.
many months later.
Whoa.
Like Eric is cheating, the bartender's cheating. Wow, surprise.
Well, also, this dude has been called out once before about her looking through his. She saw Claire's emails or something, right? Or she somehow saw emails.
I don't know.
That's how she figured it out first.
Emails, come on,
Emails. Lock her up. Yeah. So she sees the emails from old Claire and the boyfriend. That's what ruined it before, and stabbed him through the eye and what have you. And then he, like an idiot, is just like, hey, why don't you grab my phone? Because that's not how this all ended last time, terribly. But he's like, yeah, grab my phone, whatever. And then she's looking, and it's like, hey, hot stuff. XOXO.
And then the screen pans over to a fucking
It rack focus. It goes like from the phone, and it's like a rack. It's not even a move. It's literally they set up the shot like from here to there, and it's like, oh, there's the knife, and then she grabs the knife, and then it's slowly
she
like.
doesn't grab the knife.
Well,
they cut away.
Right.
So you can be
Theoretically, yeah, because she's walking, and it's like I made the hilarious American Psycho joke about Huey Lewis in the news, and you're just like, that was a good movie, wasn't it? And I was like, yeah, it is a good movie. Maybe we'll talk about American Psycho later. And then I was like, did you see Christian Bale in that new Vice preview?
Okay.
I did.
Nope.
I think it's looking pretty good.
It's fine. So she's like standing like this close to her ex-boyfriend, and she's like, "Oh, honey, I got this for you." And you're like, "Oh, she's just gonna like execute him."
Step.
I'd rather her do that. And she's
That'd
like,
be great.
"Here's your phone."
Yeah, we're gonna work it out. But you know why she doesn't want to murder anymore? It's revealed the scene after that.
Because she has a pet.
It turns out
John Monahan.
he was the pet all along.
Can you add more to this?
What?
Can you add more to this? No, stop. Can you add
What?
Boo! I want like audience. Boo! 0 stars. 0 stars. Boo!
Watch it if you want. This is a good
I'll
movie.
watch it.
If you like dogs, if you like them putting down dogs, give it a try.
If you want to see someone's fingernail get ripped off for almost no reason.
If you want to see a big old security guard eating a lot of delicious homemade sandwiches, give it a try.
If you want to see a homeless man get set on fire, give it a try.
If you want to see, imaginary people telling you to kill, look into my tree.
It's just dumb.
Yeah, Pet. Anyway, Pet, not so great. Watch something else. Don't ride the bus.
Well, see, this is where this movie almost got me.
What?
Because in the whole beginning of the movie, like in this climate that we're living in, and the climate that
too.
I have been living in my entire life, to be a woman is dangerous, correct?
Yep.
And it's not even like
Preach.
Stop. You're being condescending.
Preach.
So it's not even like dangerous in the actual sense. It's just like
You're
always, as a woman of a certain age, because it's a lot of men like youth, you're always going to be like in danger of just some fucker trying to talk to you. And then like that was one thing that they really got right, was that Seth saw Holly for a moment, and then he was like, I had no purpose. And then you came into my life and you fixed it. And that's like exactly how this bullshit starts. Is some guy sees you at a party or at a bar or at work, and he's like, oh, I have to talk to you. You changed. You fixed it. The manic pixie dream girl. That's like the whole thing, And so they got all of that right. And I was on board with all of it. And then they made her out of nowhere the serial killer.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't Gone Girl, You can't just make someone a killer out of nowhere. There has to be a fucking reason behind it.
Whoa.
And then like her being like, oh, once you have your first kill, it's just like, oh, it's so fun. Oh, I love it. It's so great. It's such a good experience. It's like the whole world has changed. It's like, this is the dumbest reason. That's why you like kiss women. That's not why you kill everyone. Stupid.
Wow. Yeah, it's sometimes nice to see a stalker become the hero.
Said no one ever.
Think about that. Media.
0 stars.
Anyway, it's on Amazon Prime now. Go watch it.